Two.
Hey guys, Britni Ross here. I am so excited to bring you, these are my personal mentors. I've learned so much from these guys since, gosh, I guess it's been about 18 months, going on 2 years since we first, discovered that, what you guys were doing with your wholesale business and your Amazon business. So this is Dan Meadors and Eric Lambert, and they had very humble beginnings on Amazon.com, and now they're blowing a lot of people out of the water. You guys have done some incredible things. So I'm really excited to have you here and let everyone know what you're doing. Tell me a little bit, about yourself. Tell the audience.
Actually, we're going to let Eric handle this one because he loves talking about himself.
That's true. So
true.
Dive right in. No, in a couple years before we ever met Britni or any of this took off, it was Dan and I goofing off with retail arbitrage while we had full-time jobs. I gave it a go. Really began to understand how it works, because it's a difficult concept to comprehend, retail arbitrage. But it worked. FBA was phenomenal. You already mean I don't have to ship the products, because you come from the eBay mindset, or just e-commerce in general. Up until FBA, it was just you sold something, you had to ship it, So once we really grasped the concepts and then saw that it could work, after about 4 or 5 months, we, just jumped straight in, quit our jobs, hit the roads, some beautiful places like Kentucky, some not great places like Ohio, just traveling around, doing some RA. And so it was just Dan and I, 2012, all RA, about 800K, or almost 900K. 2013, still just Dan and I, all RA, about 920 or something like that. And it was about the third year we'd tried a few things, some little side projects to, diversify, or whatever these people say, just try to make more money, as it were, for us.
We've had an awesome one. Started a My Little Pony website.
That's true. I specialized in everything My Little Pony. Didn't work. And, we tried a bunch of different things. Anyway, Wholesale was just another project. It's one that everybody hears about today because it obviously stuck and worked. But, about the summer of 2014, we decided, to try to buy products, and get them shipped to us, right, so we could get off the road and stay out of those awful places like Ohio.
I know, it's dreadful.
Beautiful Kentucky, and we're just tired of being on the road. Wanted to be with the family more and stuff. And summer was a habitually slow time for us because we were very toys and games 4-to-4 centric. About 50% of our revenue during that time came during those 3 months.
Right.
So we had the time. We'd made some capital at this point, and so we decided to experiment with Wholesale. And for that 6 months, we still maintained about our 900K for RA and added about 400K in Wholesale. So we finished that year at about 1.3, maybe 1.4, somewhere in that range. But we knew that this was going to, instead of just add money to us, this was actually going to just take it over. This was going to be something we could grow. It wasn't based on what Dan and I knew about products, what to look for in stores. This is something we knew we could teach, scale, and grow into an actual business instead of just a way to make good money, which we were doing with RA.
A way to make real Skrilla.
And by the way, Dan's going to dab for you at the end of this, so you guys are in for a treat at the end of this webinar. Dan's going to
He taught me about dabbing yesterday, and I've been dabbing everywhere.
I'm not familiar with dabbing.
Well, you've got a great teacher who's going to show you here.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
So there we were, and hired a couple of employees and started scaling the Wholesale. And so 2015 was 100% Wholesale, and I think we did 3.9 million. And started teaching people, some great people like you. And then 2016, last year, was of course still all Wholesale, and we did just about 7 million in sales. And I know it's
incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
And here we are today.
Yeah, 2017 is looking up.
Yeah, well, our goal this year is going to be 10 million. I think I feel like it'd be just something great to say. 8-figure sales.
I see it for you guys. A lot of the audience here may not know you or not know a lot about you guys. I've met you personally. I've hung out with you in Kentucky. We've drank beers together. We've laughed together. These guys are the real deal. Very, very down to earth. But you guys know your numbers. So don't let these Kentucky accents fool anyone. You guys are smart. You hustle. You know what you're doing. and our story is very similar. We started with just doing retail arbitrage. My husband Mike would hit the road. He's on the road today because we just haven't been able to quite give up that retail arbitrage money yet. And we do the $1 million a year, and we started dabbling in wholesale, and it kind of worked, but not really. We go find a sales rep, get 50 different catalogs, pour through the catalogs, find 3 things that we kind of could make money on, maybe. And we just kept banging our heads against the wall. And then we found you guys in 2015, and we were like, you know what, I want to learn their methods. Because what you guys were doing was different than what a lot of people are doing, which really is pouring through catalogs and being bored out of your mind and frustrated. Your methods worked, and they worked for us, and I've met a lot of other people, and they work for them. So let's kind of talk about how to even get started, because some people are maybe wanting to give up retail arbitrage. That's our goal, is to have an actual business that if you took us out of it, there would still be value there. Maybe we could sell it. Maybe it'll just produce an income for us. Maybe we'll continue to work in it. I don't know. But it's a real tangible business with actual value. How do people even begin to get started? What do they need to know?
Well, the thing is as much as I like to talk about myself, as Dan outed me on that, Dan loves to get passionate about this stuff. And before he gets going, I actually want you to put that slide up, because this will start going real fast. We'll start getting real excited. And just in case, I don't want people to miss out this workshop, the slide that she's putting up. If you go here, it's going to have the stuff that we're going to talk about, like in case we miss anything, or we're not going to be able to go as in depth. These videos are going to be 18 to 20 minutes long, and they're going to be much more give you a better explanation. So before we got going and started, I wanted to make sure that so it's BritniRoss.com/wholesale, and you're going to be able to have it explained a little better there, because Dan's excitable. And he'll get. I'm just saying he enjoys. I mean, he's passionate, which is great. I mean, we're here today based a lot off of that passion. So So thanks for putting that up, and then I'll let Dan. We'll put it up again at the end for anybody, so don't think that that's the only time you'll see it. But so I'm going to let him off his leash and get
excited. Do some dab.
No, I mean, all right. So I'm just kidding. So anyway, as far as getting started, wholesale is actually real easy. It's it's easy enough that 2 Kentucky guys can do it. But one really smart one, and one other one. But anyway, we got what you have to do is they're going to require a resale certificate. If you're not set up with a resale certificate, you're not going to get very far, because every single wholesaler you talk to is going to ask for it. And if they don't ask for it, you probably don't want to buy from them. It's just, in general, they're going to generally want that information.
And that's free. You do it online. Look it up, whatever state. If you're unfortunate enough not to live in Kentucky, whatever state you live in, look it up. It's free. It's easy. It's a form you fill out. So it's no problem at all.
And we apologize that your basketball team's terrible if you don't really get that. But anyway, so after you have your resale certificate, the next thing we suggest doing is focusing on having a professional appearance. Like, you want to be whenever you're emailing a company, you don't want to email them from hotkitty@gmail.com,
or like dabbingdan@gmail.com,
or dabbingdan@gmail.com. It's not gonna cut it. Instead, you probably want to set up a professional email address with a real domain, and put up a page that tells a little bit about your company. It doesn't have to be extravagant. I mean, it's relatively simple. It's a 1-page website that just says that we do awesome stuff and we don't suck. and pretty much that's what you want to convey. Is you want to convey the reasons that people want to work with you. So, while that's not required, nobody's going to, if you email them with hotkitty@gmail.com or dabbingdan@gmail.com, that's not going to automatically mean that you can't do wholesale. It's just going to mean effectively you're bringing a knife to a gunfight, and you're going to be significantly less successful than if you did do something to be a little more professional. So that's where I would get started. What about you, my friend?
No, I mean, I think you covered it. And that's the thing. And then I would just spend some time when you watch these videos, you go through these videos, you'll see exactly the concept and how we came up with the reverse sourcing method, like Britni alluded to, pouring over these catalogs and stuff didn't work for her. It certainly didn't work for us. I know people that do it, and that's great.
Yeah,
they're very more successful doing trade shows. Otherwise, trade shows wouldn't exist if people couldn't do it. So I mean, it just wasn't for us. But when you watch these videos, you'll see how we source and then go out and just dabble around, do it. It's just a little time spent around on Amazon and start let things start percolating, start getting some ideas and things that that you may be interested in, and just start from there, really.
And Beverly Long, since we're talking about what to set up first, and you had mentioned a very simple website, she did ask if you have any guides for setting up a website.
I mean, we can give you a template. They're a little more complex than what you need.
Right.
Bear in mind, these companies probably do between $50 and $100 million. Like one place you can start looking is etails.com.
That's with a Z. E-T. I'll type it in chat, but yeah, E-A-I-L-Z. Big-fly.com is another good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's F-L-Y.
Oh, great. Thank you. I got that.
And then you have Avalanche, IND, NetRush. All those are great examples of companies that have a website that talks about themselves and what kind of things they can do to help vendors. Mm-hmm. And if you look at those companies, eTails, Big Fly, NetRush, Avalanche, Brands, all those guys are probably, if they're not top 10 sellers, they're definitely top 25. Like, mm-hmm. And why are they doing these kind of things? And it's not. I promise you, big companies, these big companies don't waste a lot of resources. They're doing it because it helps them convert and perform better with manufacturers.
No, that's great. And we set up our own website using something like Wix or Squarespace, something simple. Don't overthink it. If you have more capital than time, you can probably get someone to do it $500 to $1,000. If you have more time than capital, these sites make it super easy. And so don't get caught up on setting up a website. Simple, make it easy.
It is. It really is.
Now, we had talked, we've had many conversations. You guys created your own system for doing wholesale. You touched on how you don't really do trade shows. You don't pour through catalogs. What exactly were the problems you were having, and how did you fix those?
I mean, I should give this one to Eric because he likes to complain a lot, but I'll actually So one of the problems we had was when we were pouring through these catalogs, we just wasn't finding anything. Like, it's the same thing you said. It's like you find like 3 or 4 items where it's like, and it's just not even attractive. It's not. It's like I wish I would have just been shopping.
Mm-hmm.
So
I could have been buying blankets and clothes and shoes and toys.
Right. Like, and it's like, God, how does anybody ever find anything? I mean, that was because we did it for like a week before we really killed ourselves. We wanted to just gouge our eyeballs out. And then we were like, well, we'll go to this ASD thing and see how it works out. Well, first off, we were idiots. Like, we had no idea what we were doing. So we're sitting there walking around and going up to booths, and we're just scanning them. We didn't have any direction before we went there. Like, we just thought you showed up and you bought what made sense. So, but the problem is like we were invested in being there, right? Like, we had already paid our plane tickets. We had already paid our hotels. And it's like, well, we have to do something. Like, we can't just come here and do a bunch of nothing. So like we kind of felt more obligated to make purchases, and it just didn't work out. Like, by the time we got home, like, some of them were good, some of them were bad. Like, the majority of them just were bleh, and like didn't make very much money. We probably just lost money, and that's where we got started with it. It's like we're just sitting here talking about it. It's like, well, this sucks. Like, we're gonna have to. It looks like we're gonna continue to have to be doing RA. And we're literally sitting in front of a computer, and it's just looking at a product, and it's like, I wonder why you just can't go buy that. Like, why do I have to figure out, how in the world do you figure out who just sells that product? So we got the idea just to call the manufacturer and be like, where can we buy this product? And they're like, well, we set up accounts for retailers. Like, what? Like, what? That's a thing? Like, you actually just sell to us? Yeah, man. Like, as long as you got a resale certificate, like, we'll set one up for you. And it's like, wow, this is incredible. And that's the point where we thought we were going to be filthy rich in about the next 6 to 8 months. Like, we thought we'd probably be retiring to our own private island because it was so easy, right? Like at that point, like y'all, any product I see, I just call them. They set me up an account. I can start buying tomorrow. Like instantaneously, filthy rich.
Yes, that's how it works.
While that one was easy to set up, the majority of them actually don't want to set up accounts for people who sell online or people who sell on Amazon. So that presented the next set of challenges and ultimately dashed our dreams of owning our private island by 2016. So, but with those new challenges, it was amazing because we had to find ways to work through them. And part of that was, being more professional, talking about, learning to talk to them about how we can help them as opposed to just being another seller. And once we were able to figure that out, like that's whenever you see like our growth is continuous. And it's because we're carrying items that we buy month after month and just adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to point out that I never actually felt like an idiot. So if you did, that's fine. And I would never share my private island with you. So you'd have to buy your own. But other than that, he nailed it.
It's funny. Mike went to ASD in 2012 when we first got into wholesale, and he's like, I'm going to go to ASD and I'm going to get a bunch of accounts and we're going to make this wholesale thing work. And he didn't do any homework either. And he got there and he walked around for day one and found nothing. And it wasn't until day two that he realized he had just been in like the Chinese clothes section. He didn't know there was this whole other section with the stuff he was actually looking for. He spent too much time looking at liquidations and came home with a bunch of catalogs that we found nothing. I know trade shows work, but if you don't know what you're doing, they can be so overwhelming. And if you're an introvert, it can be really hard to get out there. And if you're just getting started, you plane tickets and hotel expense and your cost of it adds up fast. So it's good to hear that you guys have had all this success and you haven't really had to do a lot of that.
No, I mean, we went to ASD, I think last year. I didn't actually go. I went in the hall for like a couple minutes.
I never went over.
He never went over to the hall.
You just went to network and
I was tagging along to be in Vegas.
It is a fun city.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if someone wanted to get started today, like, okay, I'm watching this, I'm excited, I want to do something right now. What's the very first thing you think they should do? Let's pretend they already got their business set up. So we're not talking all the taxes but what's the first thing you think they should do?
I mean, I feel like you should probably, like I started mentioning a little bit earlier, it's like when you look at how we source the products with this workshop, do it, find some leads, find some things. And because here's the thing, I'm not going to, you're going to have your best success when you're on the telephone with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy. I know firsthand, but it's something that you're going to ultimately have to do. Your first two or three, you'll probably, sound how Dan felt at the trade show, but it's something that you're going to have to get some experience with, and you will, because here's the thing, the thing that you're going to, the biggest secret, pro tip, whatever that I can tell you is that you don't realize how much you know about the Amazon platform that the people you're talking to don't.
They know nothing.
Right. They know absolutely nothing. So you are actually, an authority in that space to them. So when you talk to them about the things that you can do, you're going to sound like a wizard. I mean, changing the title of bullet points and how you can have 5 of them, how you can have 6 images, and only one has to be the product image, but the rest can be lifestyle shots. And all these things you start talking about the platform, they're going to be, chomping at the bit to work with you because, you are going to be the most,
powerful wizard in the universe.
Right. I mean, they really are to these people because they have no idea how the platform works, what any of this stuff even means. And so when you realize that, that's kind of when it shifts for you. And now then you start getting, perhaps even overconfident. You start approaching these people, like, I don't understand, why you're doing this to your brand. You're just, by not selling to me, you are just basically destroying your brand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of, but no, that's it. So you got to get that experience, that confidence that you can, help the brand owner, the manufacturer, and you can bring value to their product and brand. And it's just something that comes with time, a little bit of experience.
Now, I don't ever have the problem of being overconfident. I'm always logical and completely reasonable. Eric, he's gets foolhardy sometimes.
You guys crack me up. It's really fitting that you say that, you need to kind of push yourself to make these calls and actually talk to people. So I'm an introvert by nature, and I don't like to talk to people. I'm an effective communicator, but I get really nervous. And so yesterday, and this is a totally true story. So yesterday I was trying to contact a company. First contact, they make a really boring product. It's an everyday kind of product. So I go to email them, and the email button doesn't work. They've got some like antique website from 1952 that just nothing on it is quite working. And I'm like, I gotta call them. Okay, I'm gonna do it right now. So I call, and at the beginning of all my calls, my voice starts getting a little cracky. I feel like I stumble through things. And the first thing he says to me is, "You gonna sell my product on Amazon?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And then I went into, but not just Amazon. We sell on multiple marketplaces. We have our own websites. And I start explaining, what we do. And I said, "But you asked me that question really fast. So tell me what's happening. Like, what's going on with your Amazon situation? You don't sound happy." And he goes on to this long story about how he's got too many people and he gets all these emails and he's quit replying to them because he's just sick of people wanting to sell his product on Amazon. We talked for an hour. We laughed, we joked. An hour goes by and he's like, "You know what? I'm not going to sell I'm going to tell my distributor they can't sell to Amazon anymore," because he had one product going to Amazon. He's like, "I'm severing that relationship. I want to work with you. I don't want to do an exclusive," because Avalanche had just called him the day before and said, "We'll sell your product. We're super awesome, but we want an exclusive." And I told him that I didn't think an exclusive was in his best interest at this point, and that he should work with a few sellers that he trusts so that we all win. So he doesn't, stock out and things like that. Go through this whole long thing. So now he wants to sell the product to me. He wants to sell his product to a few trusted sellers. He's asked me now for recommendations of sellers he should work with because he feels like he'd like to work with a tight-knit group where everybody has his core mission in mind.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
All because I picked up the phone and called him. And when he said, "Are you going to sell my product on Amazon?" I wasn't like, no.
Right.
I'm going to lie to you. It works.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily comfortable, but you have to be better than your competition.
But it's a big, that's beautiful. Because that's the mentality that we have too, is it's a big picture, long-term game to where I don't want to start the partnership off with, cloak and dagger. Like, no, I'm not going to sell there. Of course I am. Sooner or later you get found out.
Right.
I want reliable, consistent income, which this model tends to, but that also means being above the table. So, because when they find out that I've duped them, so to speak, they're going to not sell to me.
It's over. You've killed the relationship, and they're not going to refer you. If anyone ever asks about you, they're going to say, "You don't want to work with these guys."
Right.
You have to be honest. It's business.
Right.
You don't want to be shady.
I think it's more pressing going forward with brand restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
As this becomes a more real thing, you're going to have good partnerships.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't exactly go to your brand and say, "Hey, I need this letter, but I don't sell your product on Amazon, so don't." Like, how do you even have that conversation?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's done then.
And we know more brand restrictions are coming. There's been plenty of announcements there.
Without a doubt.
So one of the most common questions that we get asked is how much money? How much money do you need to get started? What do you guys think?
It's realistically, I feel like it needs to probably be in the $2,000, $3,000, maybe $4,000 range. And it's not necessarily about the amount of money. What it allows you to do, you could clearly start with less than that, but then you've got the time factor where you have to turn your money over. With $2,000 or $3,000, you're going to be able to, because most of the minimum orders we confront are like $500.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, you'll be able to diversify, get a few SKUs to get more experience. It's not about diversify for the sake of a product going under. It's like you're going to learn faster. If you've got 5 items selling through at one time, you're going to find, maybe 4 only turns out only 4 of them were as good as you thought they were. 1 wasn't. You analyze why it wasn't. And then you can, but you're going to be able to reinvest your money faster and upward bigger. So that's why I like versus, if you started, you can start theoretically with $500. You start one minimum order of $500 and it sells through in a month. We've only got data points for 1 item. Now next month, you're still probably only going to have like $750. So you're still the same item and you can build over time. But realistically, this will give you, and what it also does is give you the opportunity, because what a lot of manufacturers have, they often have tiers or price breaks. So like you can get in for $500, but if you push your order to $1,000, well, you can get 15%, the product 15% cheaper or something. So that allows you to take advantage of any of that that's within reason, there too. So that's kind of where I feel pretty safe. And I'll tell you, like just even from our own experience, we when we started this little wholesale adventure, we'd set aside $10,000 for this project. We weren't even able to spend $5,000 in the first month. We just didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know, like, we thought we'd spend that $10,000 in 3 days. I mean, we thought we'd just hand out all this money and they'd send us product, and it wasn't that easy. So I feel like that's a pretty good baseline. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like that's it's a reasonable amount. And if you've been doing retail or online arbitrage, you probably do have some profit saved. At least I hope you have some profit saved up. And that's a good, I think, taking some of your profit from other sourcing methods and building a wholesale business out of that profit it's a beautiful way to take profit and put it into an appreciating asset. Instead of, you could take it and buy another TV, but that's not going to give you income later. So I think so. I think that's great. Now, you guys, I've seen you out on the Facebook forums, and people ask you this all the time. What do you do if Amazon says no? Or not Amazon. What do you do if you contact a wholesaler and they aren't taking any more Amazon sellers? And your answer is always that those are your favorite accounts. So could you just tell the audience a little bit about why? Because it's so discouraging for people.
I mean, the reason they're our favorite accounts.
No, I was just going to say, like circa 2014, it would be devastating. Hang up the phone, that'd be the end of the conversation and on to the next one. But, now how it is now and why we think this way now is because smooth transition.
Oh, was that your hand off?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Super smooth.
So for us, it is a lot more exciting now to be turned down. You tend to, if you're contacting a company and it's, we contact them and they say yes, and then they say yes to somebody from Ohio. Like the product's going to go down. I mean, it's just like more sellers introduce more competition, introduces lower prices. So the more resistance we meet, the more exciting that product is. So whenever they say no, it's what are the things that we're going to do, and it's generally all about how we can help that brand progress and move forward. And it's he mentioned it earlier. It's not rocket science, but you will sound like a wizard, and that's where most people fall short. Is they believe that anybody can make a listing change, anybody can make. That's the point. That's the whole point. Is you're looking at a product. Let's say you're looking at a product, and it's got one picture. And there's say there's 8 sellers on it. Guess how many sellers have told this company that they need more pictures? 0. You're going to be the only one that mentioned it. So while, that is simple. That is simple to put in more pictures, right? You're the only one who's mentioned it to them, and you're going to sound like an actual wizard. That's why they want to work with you. And it's not rocket science. We look at titles. We look at descriptions. We look at pictures. And look for opportunities to help a product convert. We all know as Amazon sellers, if you have more pictures, it's going to convert better. If their pictures are better, they're going to convert better. If the title is nice and has keywords, it's going to convert better. If bullet points are well written, they're going to convert. All these things help with conversion. And whenever you're talking to them, it's not about you can explain that it's not about just today's conversion. It's not about the conversion I'm going to get you in the next 2 weeks. The way Amazon's search engine works is the more things convert, the better they rank. And over time, as Amazon grows, you continue to grow with it. So we're trying to put you in the best position to grow. So, and whenever they understand that you want to work with them and you want to help them, it becomes a lot easier to get to get that account. And the most common thing is that we don't need more Amazon sellers, right? And it's
Right.
Here's the thing: they don't need more people just carrying their product. They are 100% right. Like, you should probably just say yes every time. Like, yeah, man, I definitely agree with it, or yes, ma'am, I definitely agree. And it's because they don't need more people just hawking their crap. They need people who will positively affect their brand. And then you just have to explain that, I'm not your typical Amazon seller, and here's why I don't suck.
Muggle wizard.
Muggle wizard.
Yeah.
And it's funny because yesterday when I'm talking to this guy and he's telling me, all these problems with Amazon, and instead of just, backing down or going, but we can fix that, I just started telling him the solution. Like, you're right. Your titles are kind of bad. Like, your brand name's not really in there. It doesn't really say there's a lot you can put in there, and that the search algorithm, it's going to pull up your title and your descriptions. It looks like your descriptions aren't really helping customers decide if they want to buy it. You could add more photos. You can do this. You can do that. I didn't tell him, well, if you work with me, then I can give you all this information. I just started helping him right then and there in that second. I didn't offer to do it for him for free, but I gave him the answers. And that's what really got him to be like, well, wait, what? You sound like you know about this. And then he started asking me questions. And once they start asking you questions, you've got them. You got them. Yeah. And we have another company. They make really, really high-end filters. And we contacted them and basically let him know, your photos are blurry, your titles are bad, I don't even know what your bullet points say. I don't know what any of this means. I don't know. It's just a bunch of chemicals that you're going to remove from my water. Why are these bad? Are these good? And after being on the phone for a while, he actually did say, why aren't any of my other Amazon sellers telling me this? I have 8 other sellers I work with. You're the first person, and you haven't even made any money off my products. And now we sell his products. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that it all begins with the relationship, and actually, and providing some value, the ability to provide value for them.
Most people want to pretend like what we do or as sellers on Amazon is some sort of proprietary nature. If you try to approach somebody with that, again, hidden agenda, you come across as awkward to work with. Nobody wants to work with that guy. Nobody wants to work with the quid pro quo guy. Instead, if you can offer to be helpful up front, like you guys did, people respond to that.
Yeah, they do. They need help. And even if this guy never sold me a product, if he makes his product better and he gets his Amazon presence under control, it improves the marketplace. Yeah. It's not a big deal. You're not going to win them all, but try to help them all, at least when you're talking to them. I did want to let the audience know, a lot of the content that we've been talking about, we're getting ready to kind of wrap up, and I want to open it to questions from the audience. So if you have questions, you can post them in the chat, or you can post them. I think there's a question button that you guys could click on that and start submitting some questions, because we're going to do a live Q&A here in just a bit. The next big problem that almost everyone I talk to that's tried wholesale, the items they find aren't profitable. You go in and you look, and you get the price sheet. So they've said yes to the account, so you already won that. And then you go look at the price sheet, and you just can't find anything. What are they doing wrong? You guys are finding profitable products. How can?
You want to take this one? No, I mean, this is your expertise. You're the master.
Master of coin.
Yeah.
Master of coin.
All right. So most people here's the first thing they need to do is learn how to ask for a discount. You can't be a chicken feathers. You have to want to get a discount. Here's the thing: if you look at a product and it's consistently been selling for, let's say it's been selling for $25, and you get your price sheet, and $25 doesn't make you any money or even loses you money, And you look back at the Keepa history, and it's like, well, this thing's always been $25. I mean, it's been $25 for the past 8 months or 12 months. Do you think that somebody has literally lost money for an entire year? Like, they've just been like, all right, I'm gonna start here on day one. I'm just gonna lose money for a year and see how it works out for me. I'll make it up in volume. No, that doesn't happen. Like, that's not how it works. People don't set out to lose money, and you learn more as you move along with wholesale, and as you move along in growing your business to scale. You learn that there's most people tend to make money. Like, they find ways to make money. They find ways to generate income. And we had that same problem. Like, we had that same issue where we look at a price list and it was just like, got us, can't make any money.
Right.
And eventually you start looking at those trends. You start looking that it's the same guys, like, a bunch of the same sellers that are selling a lot of these products, and they're huge, and they're always seem to be making no money. It's like, okay, you do, and it's like, no, they're not. They're not always just losing money. They're working to get better discounts, and a lot of that can be just placing a bigger order, or a lot of it can be. Here's the thing: whenever you start working with them, if for example, like, let's say that, because I'm super helpful and Eric's not, that I'm working with a company that, and I approached them about a discount. I'm like, hey, Britni's company, like, I can't, here are some of the expenses I got, and this is what I'm clearing on Amazon. I really do want to help you, but I can't make this work margin-wise. It's just not going to work for me. Now, she's going to be significant, whether she can do it or not, she's going to be significantly more likely to work with me than nasty old Eric.
Right, because you started off with, propositions of value and, addressing their solutions, listening to addressing their problems, listening to them, maybe even telling them what they need to do, not necessarily doing it for them or whatever, but so they're going to be more receptive and not think that you're just browbeating them for a discount, that you legitimately would like to make a mutually beneficial partnership where everybody can make money, but this is literally what I'm clearing. If we can get it net to here, I think this would be great, for just a long-term great relationship. And people are more receptive to that than you just ring them up and, these numbers look a little high. Let's say, how about a discount across the board? Can I get, say 20% off across the board? Maybe you're not going to listen to you very, very much.
But how often should you try to negotiate a discount? Every single time. Like, the answer is every single time. You just need to give them a great reason to do it. We never, even if I look at a profitable price list, like, all we do when we see a profitable price list is like pump the fist because we know we're going to make even more money.
That's a really good point, because I'm still guilty when I see a profitable. I'm like, yes, profit.
I'll take it.
Buy it. I'll take it. Like, I don't naturally negotiate. And I sold diamonds for years. I sold diamonds, and then I managed a bank. So I should be a really good salesperson, but it doesn't feel natural to me, so I struggle. And Mike,
were you like a diamond broker?
No, I managed a K Jewelers.
Oh,
but yeah,
not like African diamond dealer.
No, I wasn't like traveling the world getting diamonds in my briefcase and selling them or anything. I'm not that interesting. But Mike is our master of coin. Here, he was an antique dealer, so that's all he did was hit flea markets and wheel and deal. And he does it now in big box retail stores with managers. He's really good at liquidating stock. And one sentence, and I think you even alluded to it, one of you did, where you're saying, okay, here's where your price is. He doesn't ask for a percentage discount. He doesn't ask for a specific dollar amount. He says, listen, I'm trying to get as close to X dollar as possible. What can we do?
Right.
Like, I want to buy your product, but I really need it to be closer to this. And then he kind of puts the power back on them. They're not saying yes or no. They're like, oh, I can't get it down to $5 a unit, but what about $5.75? And now you're meeting somewhere in the middle rather than, can you give me a discount? Yes or no.
Right.
And that's one of his master tips. And it works. It works at flea markets. It works on the phone. It works with retail managers.
And you have to be willing to, negotiate on your end too. Like, you'd like it to be cheap. I'd like it to be half of what you're charging. That's not realistic.
Right.
So it's a relationship, the same way, even to that end of it.
Oh, right. So much good information. You guys are always full of great information. So we have a ton of questions. He is full of something. And you drink and you know things, probably.
I've got that covered.
So, okay, I've got a ton of questions here. Let's get into the weeds. What specific tools? So specifically, Jungle Scout, Merchant Words, prep companies, like what's absolutely required to run a successful wholesale business? Like what could you not live without?
I mean, the tool that we use most, honestly, is Jungle Scout. It really
You're talking about the extension, just the little like.
Right. Like we use the extension. You can definitely use the estimator.
In fact, in the videos, we use the estimator, the free web tool that they have.
I mean, the extension's a one-time fee. I use it. I use it a lot.
I mean, as far as it helps us pick out our initial orders, and it helps us identify the products that we really want. And to be honest, like mine and Eric's goal whenever we started expanding into wholesale was to make ourselves less relevant. Every day we wanted to work ourselves out of a job. So we, with those tools, we try to create a system with using tools that makes it really, really easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means I can replicate it. That means if I want to grow more, like I can put more people in place and they're able to easily replicate and continue the process. So whenever we did that, Jungle Scout, like, could you operate without Jungle Scout? Yes. Like, is there a reason to? Not really.
Right.
We in our business we use other tools like Restock Pro, but yeah, I mean you don't need that early on. Like Restock Pro is not necessary if you're not stocking. Like when you start stocking 50 or 100 different SKUs that are all replenishable, like you probably want a software. But I promise, like when you're at that level, it's not the expense is not
right
as heavy.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I would not recommend if you're just getting started, don't go get Restock Pro.
Right.
Because that has a learning curve all to itself. Like that thing's a beast. We use it as well, but we have a lot of replenishable SKUs. If we only had 10, I can just go in every couple of weeks and look and go, I need to reorder. So no big deal. And another one that we use because we still do a lot in clothing is Resale. I just have not. Even if you don't do clothing, because it does show you all the variations, I just like that Resale has the net profit right at the top of the screen, because every second that I have to scroll down is just, I'm lazy. I just don't want to do more work than I have to. So Resale is like $90 a year. It's so cheap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a great question. Do you sell your wholesale products on other platforms outside of Amazon?
Oh, we used to concentrate on that. Like that used to be one of our more marketing pitches was multiple platforms, and I still think it's a very viable marketing pitch. Like if you intend on doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But what we decided was it wasn't the marketing pitch that we want to use going forward. We're kind of marketing ourselves as we want to be the best Amazon solution for people. And it's like, we're just really going to concentrate and double down on Amazon. So we do sell on eBay, but that's only because Joe Lister makes it super easy.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't, we probably wouldn't. I mean,
we definitely wouldn't.
Unless I told you.
Oh, okay, well, there it is.
But
and Eric drops the hammer. No eBay. We're not doing that.
No way.
Not without Joe Lister.
No way. I'm not shipping anything.
But I mean, as far as that, like we've really chosen to double down there, and just be a more Amazon expert for people. But I think it's a completely viable option if you want to use other marketplaces.
And in our business, I mean, it's great because we learned from you, but we do kind of embrace the multiple marketplace. We use Joe Lister for eBay. We use Co-Merchant to list things over to jet.com. So we're not using like Channel Advisor where you get a bunch of contracts and it's expensive.
Yeah, I know that's right.
And we did really well on Jet, and we're expanding into it. I have a line that they want their products on Jet. They want us to be the only people selling it on Jet. So we're working out exactly how Jet works. with map pricing and things like that, and we're going to figure that out. But that is a value that we offer as our
That's cool.
company. So it's cool to see that you can do it different ways.
Yeah.
You can personalize your wholesale business to you.
That's the thing too about the wholesale formula. The way we do things is like as we change or adapt or figure something else out, we put that information straight out into the Facebook group. Like, I mean, it's not that, because when we did start, it was pretty clear that, that's what we did. We told them that we sold on all these other channels but we didn't though. That's the thing, is like, you guys are doing it. That's great. We just decided that, that it was kind of another one of those underhanded tactics saying that we did when we really didn't. We did on eBay, but, we were telling that, we were approved for Walmart. We were approved for Jet. So theoretically, we at Sears and Rakuten, we theoretically could have, but we weren't.
Right.
We weren't going to. We just shifted. But I mean, that's the thing too, is like when we put that information out there and let people, get what they can. It's an ever-changing type of thing. When we learn something good or bad, something we messed up, something we did well or worked well for us, we put that out straight away and hope that it, people can take from it and learn from it and, help their business out.
Very good.
Like you said, we're constantly evolving too, because we are growing. Like, it's not, whenever we first opened the wholesale formula, we'd been doing wholesale for like
a year.
Right. And like really less than a year, because it was like me and Eric being dirtles and doing a lot of RA during the close of that previous year. So I mean, it was, we were still new, and we constantly evolve our business in the way we do things. I actually think the updates this time we're going to be putting in there are the best, like the actual best ones yet, because it's something that a lot of the concepts we're introducing now are because our team's grown too. Like we got some really awesome guys and just continue to grow in that respect. So we're constantly able to bounce around a lot of ideas and introduce pretty fresh, awesome stuff into our business, and we like to test it. Like that's the thing, is all the changes that we make are changes actually from our business.
Fantastic. Now, we've been going here for almost an hour. I want to be respectful of your time. Do you have time for a couple more questions?
Yeah, we'll take a couple more. It'll be fine.
Okay. So Michael asks, they already sell to Amazon. What do you say to a vendor when they tell you, we already sell to Amazon? Is that a move on, or do you fight for them?
I likely didn't contact them in the first place. Yeah. Honestly, we try not to go. I never want to go heads up with Amazon. Like let's say that, in the other regard where like they're selling one product to Amazon, they've never sold another product to them. Like, and we've contacted them and they're like, we start talking about the other product, and honestly, you can ask them what their relationship with Amazon's like. I promise you, there are very few people that enjoy it.
The majority of the time, the feedback is miserable.
Right. That's what we've been finding.
Yeah, Vendor Central, Vendor Express, whatever it's called, for Amazon is just brutal. Like, I mean, their terms, restrictions, guidelines have to be followed to the letter, and they're pretty rough to work with.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding.
Honestly, if you come at it from that perspective, it's just ask them what their relationship's like with Amazon. And then you work with them on what you can and show them what their relationship can be like.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Let's do one more.
Okay.
And I love this one. This is a really good one to wrap it up. Put us in the mindset of a wholesaler. So a lot of times we're contacting the wholesaler and we think we're doing them a favor by buying their product, or, maybe I'm like, I'm going to place a giant order. What's going on in a wholesaler's mind when we're contacting them and we feel like we're already kind of doing them a favor by wanting to give them money? What do you find their mindset to be?
Oh, here's the thing. I mean, we know this because we tried it, right? Like, that's what we were doing when we started. And it was, they don't want your money. Like, that's the thing, is a good brand understands that their brand is their lifeline. Like, if I sell it to this guy and he ruins it, then I've ruined my entire business. Like, these people, you're passionate about your business, right? Like, we're passionate about our business, and anybody watching this is passionate about their business or what they're doing. And imagine that, except all of your energy being on one thing, like all of it. So that's
laser focused.
Right. Like these brands have to be focused on what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, as far as, you know, I don't, once we stopped thinking that way, that we're helping you, and started thinking of it from the serving first perspective, like our luck changed. I mean, that's the thing is it's not, you know, it's not bullshit. Like we really think about serving first. Like and it's a hard mentality to adopt, to think about yourself less than you're thinking about somebody else. But once we truly, you know, adopted it and embraced it, that's when everything started turning around for us and really started growing. So,
great answer.
I don't know if that answered it, but
I think it does, because so often we've always thought like, well, why won't they take my money? My money's perfectly good. I want to buy lots of their product. And the wholesaler's not worried about necessarily selling you a bunch of product that's going to make you're just another slice in the same size of pie. Like, right. They want the pie to be bigger. They want another pie.
Right.
You got to figure out how you can bring them another pie, and not just take a sliver of what already exists.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So thank you both so much for answering all these questions. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I wish we lived closer together so we could hang out more often.
I mean, you could move away from crappy Ohio. Like, we got plenty of space down here in Ohio, in Kentucky.
If I'm leaving Ohio, it's not to go to Kentucky.
But
it's just not that different.
And thanks for suffering, Dan. I know it's difficult sometimes.
It is. It's always difficult. So I know that there were a lot of questions we could not get to.
Yeah, put that link back up, and there's a comment section below the videos. So if there's a question we didn't get to, or something you think of between, you know, hopefully this has got your, you know, your brain going, your juices flowing, and then, you know, something you think about later, leave a comment. We'll answer it. And so, yeah, there's a lot of good information on a good kicking off point.
Yeah. And the first video in this workshop is all about how you guys actually, like, the nuts and bolts of how you find products.
Right, I mean, it's the exact, you know, it's the outline of what we do.
Yes.
From start to finish.
This is not fluff. This is really like in the weeds kind of stuff. So it's great content. Just go over to this link, and you even have like a PDF that people can download that shows everything. Beautiful. So thank you again. And I look forward to chatting again with you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Talk soon.
It's a pleasure.
All right. Bye.